Right? Groove in. My brother chose this.
This is good.
Welcome to the Digital Mayors Podcast. And have you ever wondered what makes South Florida more than just a vacation spot? Today, we're kicking off our very first episode. Our very first episode of the
go.
Digital Mayors Podcast, where we uncover the gems, the amazing people, the incredible businesses and organizations that make South Florida an amazing place to live, work, play, and give back.
Yes. So today we're starting with someone who's already made a tremendous impact on our local community, Alana St.
That's her.
Alana has worked tirelessly to help local families and children, first through her work with the Spirit of Giving Network, where she organized life-changing events like the Community Spirit Race and the Holiday Gift Drive, and now with Rails Jewish Family Services. Alana, we're so thrilled to have you here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
You're our first
so
guest.
cute.
I know, this is like huge.
Yeah. Well, we kind of like you.
Monumentous.
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
s-
Honored.
We again, number one, we love you. That's really it. And we knew you'd be so accommodating and cool with us. So of
course.
we wanted to have you on as our first guest.
Yeah.
And really to sort of dive right in, you have been such a big part of the South Florida community with your previous work at Spirit of Giving and now with Rails Jewish Family Services. Can you give us an idea into your journey? Like, how did you get into the nonprofit world? What inspired you to want to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. I never thought that nonprofit was where I was going to go. Growing up, my mother worked at a nonprofit, March of Dimes. She was there forever, and then now she's at Nat King Cole Generation Hope.
Yes, she is.
And I remember, so I went to school at FAU, go Owls. I went to school at FAU. I graduated with a degree in hospitality. I went to work at the Boca Raton, back then the Boca Resort. So I wanted to do.
What did you do there?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I
what
worked
did
at
you do?
Serendipity.
Awesome.
So I did everything.
That was the dessert place.
Yeah, front of house,
Oh,
back
sounds
of house,
terrible.
all
Oh,
the
yeah.
things.
Super
Ice
cool.
cream. My first like real job was ice cream scooper at
All right.
Serendipity at
All right.
the Boca Resort.
Wow.
But I wanted to do for-profit events. And it's funny because when you talk to nonprofit people when you're young and you're like, I really want to do this, and they're like, for-profit events. But my passion was definitely giving back to my community. I mean, I grew up and volunteering wasn't like, it was something you just had to do. There was like no ask. It was like we'd wake up and we would be picking up trash or cleaning a beach or volunteering. My mom did Walk America. It was like volunteering, doing check-in and setup and breakdown and serving food.
So cool.
Right. Such a
So
great
it's
family.
like, there was never any question or ask like, hey, do you want to? It was my sister and I wake up, we're going, we have things to do, and this is what you need to do. So again, I graduated. I worked at the resort for a little bit. I had a couple different jobs in between. My first nonprofit job was actually at Fuller Center. They took
awesome.
the chance on me, and I was there
them.
for almost a year, and I learned so much. And then I was at a couple different nonprofits until I landed at Spirit of Giving, where I was at for 6 years.
Crazy, right?
And then, I recently started at Ruth and Norman Rails Jewish Family Services. So, and through that
It's a
time,
lot to say, by the way.
Right?
You have to, how
it
many
is a
times a day
mouthful.
do you have to say that?
well, I shorten it Rails
JFS.
JFS. Yeah. Well, there's also so many JFSs.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we are Rails JFS.
Rails JFS.
But I mean, so I got that give back and support my community from my mom.
That's super cool. Growing up, our parents were awesome people, but like nonprofit work, I didn't know anything about it. We never
Yeah.
did a walk or a cleanup or a run or anything. So this, for us, this has really started later in life. And it's so cool. It's fulfilling.
It really is.
Well, you get paid to do it. We pay
Yeah.
to do it. So it's a little different.
I mean, I even volunteer on my time off.
Yeah, but the feeling is still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Is the difference you get to make in the community, right? Right, that's it, just making our community a better place.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So listen, you've been deeply involved in some cool events. I already mentioned a couple of them, right? The Community Spirit Race, which we participated in last year, and the Holiday Gift Drive, which my bro was like a king for
Superstar.
that.
It's awesome.
Yes.
So can you share the mission behind those events? Like, what was the impact that it was having on the community?
Of course. So Spirit of Giving is a local nonprofit right here in Boca Raton. It is a gem of our community. So it was founded a long time ago by local philanthropist Barb and Dick Schmidt, with the idea of nonprofits in our community working together to serve our community more effectively. So there's 4 major programs: Back to School Palm Beach County, which I think you guys came out and
We
packed
helped
bags.
fill
Yes,
the bags.
helped
So
fill
it's fun.
bags.
Awesome.
So that serves 10,000 students all over Palm Beach County. Wow. We're also the charity partner for the ESPN Boca Raton Bowl, which also happens
heard of it.
here in Boca Raton, which is an amazing thing. We're able to give out thousands. I think last year was like 12,000 tickets to local families. And it's like volunteers and workers of nonprofit. I mean, it's an amazing.
Yeah.
So Holiday Gift Drive is the initial program that started Spirit of Giving. So last year we distributed, I think the goal was like the request were like 8,000, but we did 10,000 gifts all over Palm Beach County. And we were seeing that each year the need in our community continues to grow, which is kind of a very interesting thing because when people think Palm Beach County, they don't think poverty.
Right.
They think money and wealth, which is true. We do have that.
We have a lot of both.
Correct.
But there is a lot of need, and there's a lot of families that need help, and Spirit of Giving was able to do that. So we partner with 35 different nonprofits, Rails JFS being one, which is super cool, and we're able to distribute 10,000 gifts.
Amazing, huh?
Yeah.
Do you ever sit and think about the impact that makes? Like even just think about one kid,
Yeah.
right? Like imagine that. These kids that would never get it. You said, I was fortunate enough where I was always able to get gifts. Now, we were not rich by any means growing up, but we never went without. But I know before I was born, I mean, you were like poverty level.
Yeah,
Right?
I
I
mean,
mean-
our parents, there were times where they were on food stamps, right? We ate lots of Cheerios and hot dogs.
Jack in the Box, right?
Jack in the Box, that was a treat, right? Fast food out in California. Yeah, so I mean, to experience that side of it. And I remember, I distinctly remember going one time at Christmas someplace and got a gift.
Yeah.
I remember being the recipient one time, and I was like,
Right. You didn't know what it was.
yeah, I had no clue. I was
You just
a kid.
thought, cool, I'm getting a gift.
Right. And it made a difference, right? Where otherwise maybe that year, Hanukkah would have been a little light.
Yeah, and I think also the beauty of this is, I mean, there's two ways the gift drive works. Is we have gifts that are kind of like miscellaneous, where like a parent or a caretaker or a caseworker will pick the gift. We have ones where the children actually pick the gift that they want. Or we found a trend we started seeing where kids would pick a gift for their mother or father or
so cool.
sibling.
Oh my God, that's
So we would always question. We'd be like, "Why is a 10-year-old asking for like a women's spa
curling
kit?" Which
iron
is
or something.
yeah,
Right.
and they're like, "Oh, that child wanted to get a gift for their like." So yeah, at that time of year, kind of seeing not only the generosity of our donors, but the generosity of the kids and families that we're serving.
Yeah.
So yes, there are many times where I sit back and you look at it and I think about how lucky that I am to be able to do what I do and also to be able to share my passion with others.
Which is very clear, by the way.
Thanks.
Very clear.
yeah. Listen, we were drawn to you from the first time we met. I mean, it's like you have that
you radiate.
energy, that vibe. That's just
Yeah.
it's very attractive.
Thank you. I think it goes back to my parents and again, it's very similar. We didn't have, okay, as a kid, you don't know what you don't have.
Right.
So I had no idea. And I think when you look back, you're like, wow, my parents worked, my dad worked multiple jobs and, my mom also worked at the same time. Like, they both they were in college and they stopped going to college to be able to take care of my sister and I. And the decisions that they made so my sister and I could have everything and never want for anything.
Yeah.
And then to instill in us the importance of this is our community and we have to give back to our community.
That's
And then
so
I get to
friggin'
live
cool.
that every day in honor of my parents is
cool.
like,
So cool.
I couldn't be more
Right?
grateful.
Right. Amazing. And so let me ask, now that you're at Rails JFS, a newer endeavor for you, tell us a little bit about JFS. Like, what are some of their key initiatives? What is it that is the mission and what are you looking to do?
Yeah, so JFS has definitely been a big change. So Spirit of Giving was a smaller agency, obviously huge impact. JFS is a big agency with huge impact. So we have 4 main pillars. Our biggest pillars being senior services. Actually, I've never seen I know there's other nonprofits that serve seniors, but the amount of services that we have for seniors and what we do for our seniors, I kind of joke, we have a senior center, and that is probably one of my favorite places to hang out with
bet.
in Delray Beach at the Weissman Center.
Oh, yeah?
It is one of the most, and you would never think it was like a senior
Right.
activity center. It is popping.
Really? Full of life?
Full of life. There's, oh my God, it's so amazing and activities and it's great. We also have a food pantry, financial assistance program. So if someone can't pay their rent or needs help paying their electricity bill, we have children and family services. I mean, we do so much. So what I'm learning is it's kind of cradle to grave all of those basic necessities. So it's to make sure that our clients in the South Palm Beach County area, so we're doing that kind of like Boynton, ish to Boca line. That's our service area. Because again, there's other JFSs that we all work together, which is even more amazing.
Right. Collaboration is so right.
is
From
key.
Spirit of Giving, you've learned that, right? That's
Collaboration is key, and I'm super big on that. But we're able to serve our South County area so effectively because of the services that we have.
Yeah.
That's
and,
so
and so
cool.
let me ask you a question just for clarification, right? It's Jewish Family Services, but it's not just for Jews.
Correct. And that's kind of something that, again, I even learned, and as someone who's been in this community for such a long time, and I felt like I had a really good read on the nonprofits in our community. I mean, yeah, Jewish Family Services, it's founded by the principles of the religion, but we serve anyone.
That's awesome.
If you need help, we will help you. And I think that's the beauty of it. I mean, every day I learn something new. Like I just recently learned we have an amazing mentoring program, and our mentors and mentees just went down to the Balloon Museum down in Wynwood and
There's
had
a
a great
balloon museum?
yeah, something with like balloons and
All right.
yeah, I mean they're so
Field trip?
Yeah,
Field trip?
man,
All right.
I like balloons.
I love balloons. But like every day I'm learning something new. And to the collaborative piece of it, you know, I'm learning that we work with Fuller Center, we work with Best Foot Forward, we're working with American Association of Caregiving Youth. So and we work with Spirit of Giving. I mean, seeing it on this side now, it makes me so happy to
perspective, right?
it makes me so happy to see like nonprofits are really buying into in our community, which is something unique.
Yeah.
Other communities don't have this idea of nonprofits have to work together
Right.
to make our community a better place. Like we're not
Others are
working in a
fighting
silo.
for dollars
Yeah.
and for pennies. And listen, everybody here's fighting for dollars and pennies too, however, collaboratively.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right?
I mean,
like I say, you probably are sick of me saying it.
Yes.
A rising tide raises all ships.
100%.
Right? When you do better, we do better. He does better. Ben does. Like
What a great way to say that in the
everybody.
day that there's a hurricane, isn't there?
Yeah.
right? Rising tide. Hopefully the tide doesn't rise too
Hopefully the
high. And
ships
we don't
don't
raise
rise.
too many
Yeah,
ships.
hopefully they don't rise too high.
Yeah.
So one thing we love to explore on this podcast is how people navigate through challenges, right? Because life isn't just easy. You don't just wake up and then everything's great and you go to bed
Yeah.
with a smile. So in your work, both at Spirit of Giving and Rails Jewish Family Services, what are some of the biggest challenges you've faced and how have you overcome them?
I think that's a great question. So one of the things first, I try to look at everything as a lesson. So I never try to take that negative connotation of something that happens. I try to say, okay, I should work on that and I can do that better. So in my jobs, I mean, there's been little bumps and things that I've learned from. I think overall, when I look at my career path and kind of how I got to where I am, I think I'm proud of what I've done. There was one job in particular that just didn't work out for me, and I think that was a challenge. But I was able to, even at a kind of a younger age, see that maybe that job wasn't right for me and to make a decision that I needed to leave that job and find a new job. So
That's
I think
very mature,
Right.
right? I mean,
For real.
and so I kind of look at in all aspects, whether it's a relationship or a friendship or whatever that case may be. I don't try not to regret decisions that I make. I made that decision in that moment based upon the knowledge that I had at
The
that
info and the
time.
knowledge, yep.
And I try to move and learn and grow.
it's awesome.
So that's kind of how I see challenge. I know it's not like
She's
a
so
great
smart.
answer, but yeah, I try not to lean into like a negative moment. I say, okay, fix it, move.
Yeah,
we
that's
can
awesome.
we can be better.
So one of my favorite quotes ever, I have a lot of quotes that I love, but one of my favorite ones ever is Nelson Mandela. He said, we either win or we learn. So there's no losing, right? You win, you still learn from that too, but when
Yeah.
you lose, it gives you the opportunity to make things better. And losing doesn't always mean losing. It means maybe things didn't go exactly
As
how
planned.
you
Yeah.
planned.
Yeah.
And for me, I thought it was perfect for what
Yeah.
you said. It really fits in there. I either win or I learn. And I tell my basketball teams that all the time,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, I can definitely say there's been times where something monumental has happened and it's definitely changed my course. One of the biggest things for me and a kind of how I saw the world and my job and relationship and everything was when my father passed away 4 years ago, which actually this weekend is the anniversary of that. And that happens, thank you, but that happens and it changes your entire perspective on how you handle things. I think something kind of hits you and rocks you to your core and it truly shows what is important. And back to that point, I am able to live every day doing something I love in my truth that I learned from my family or was instilled in from my family. But that was like I felt like a course correction. Like I was doing good.
Yeah.
What I was doing.
Right.
And then that happened and I was like, okay, I see things a little bit differently now. And now we're just going to
Yep. A shitty thing that helps you gain some perspective.
correct.
right?
100%.
Listen, October 8th, is going to be 6 years for us
Yeah.
that our mom passed.
Yeah.
And by the way, she's back here behind us. We
Shout
brought
out,
her with
Mom.
us to watch, and we were good before. And like you were saying, it really affected us and just kind of put us on a path for even better.
Yeah.
But again, and with that too, and listen, even recent, right? So unfortunately, tomorrow we're going to a funeral for a guy that died in a car crash 2 days before his 34th birthday, right? He has 3 kids, a newborn, and that sucks, right? I mean, it's horrible. It's a tragedy, and it gives some perspective and
Yes.
some, it makes me want to tell people, I don't care what's going on. Get a $20 a month life insurance policy. Take care of the people you love, right? And by the way, make good choices,
Yeah.
right? And tell people you love them, right? I
Tell
mean,
people you love them every day.
that's one of the things that I think has really good that's come out of our mom's passings, right? I think we're closer, I think, and it just, right, a shitty way to learn and to appreciate,
100%.
right? But it's a good thing to be able to take that and actually appreciate instead of, right? We know people that cocoon and focus and spiral and not in a good way,
Yep.
right? Like I told my brother, look, not to be so morbid, right? But after our mom passed, I said to him, I said, listen, if you die before I do, I want you to know I'm going to be super sad. And I'm going to do my best to live a good life because I'm telling you to your face, if I die before you do, I know you'll be sad. I want you to live an amazing life and be happy and fulfilling and work with a lot, like do these amazing things, right? Like that, it kind of gave me that perspective to say, hey, listen, I know you'll be sad, but I want you to be good.
Yeah.
Just know.
That's funny. On our end, I told my sister and my mother, so don't go anywhere. Don't do anything. I'm putting you in bubble wrap.
We did that too. We did that too.
Nothing can happen.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So to switch gears a little bit to happier maybe.
Yeah. We love happy.
Of course. So in your work with the organizations you've been involved with, what has been a moment where you really sort of felt, this is why I'm doing this?
Oh my gosh. So many moments. So I've had moments. Okay. So a moment for me. At back to school, it was probably my first or second year at back to school Palm Beach County. And one of the things that we try to make a point is that all staff and any volunteers, if you're not in the shopping area, we try to say go to the shopping area and just at least walk one kid, especially for our staff and newer staff. So again, I was newer at that time, and I remember my boss at the time was like, "Hey, you need to just go shop with the kid for a second, and then we'll come back and work the volunteer room." I'm like, all right, cool. So I remember going in, and I go get in line, I get trained on what I'm supposed to do, and you get your first kid and they hold your hand, the little ones.
Right.
The teens are like, I'm good.
Well, they're trying to hold your hand because you're cute, but they're different.
The little ones, they hold your hand and you walk and you let them pick, and then they start telling you about, I mean, everything, their life and what they're doing and how excited they are to be here. And my favorite color is pink, and I really want a pink folder. And it's like, all right, let's get a pink folder. And it's
Right.
just like that type of moment. And then, going through it, and then you get a teenager your next round going through back to school, and they're kind of like, and but it's still that kind of like that moment that I'm able to do something, and they may not remember
Right.
it, but it made such an impact on me. And then I think one of my favorite things overall is I do like the stuff that I'm able to experience on my own, but I love watching other people get excited to
Right.
Yeah.
give back. I mean, I know I'm super passionate about what I do. I get anytime I can help, and I do, and I want to.
Yeah.
But when someone reaches out and says, hey, I'm super passionate about planting trees, the environment. And I'm like, great, here's a couple nonprofits that I've worked with in the past that I kind of like, and I think they're good. You should. And then, I'll go to a tree planting, and I'll be able to see that person
Doing it.
feel fulfilled. And in that moment, that I think is what brings me the most joy, is when I find other people find their passion.
Ben, you're on her face, right? Like you can see the passion come through, right? The excitement, like that, like that's it. That's what makes you you.
Yeah.
I so love that you're so excited about doing what you do and making
Yeah,
the world a better place.
So I've got, it's kind of like a two-part question.
All right.
So the first part is, looking forward, what do you think some of the greatest opportunities for nonprofits in South Florida? And for those listening and watching that want to get involved, how can they make the biggest impact?
These are both great questions. So for nonprofits, one of the things that I recommend to everyone is, one, collaborate. So whether you join like Delray Beach Chamber has a nonprofit council, or Spirit of Giving, find, or just even doing some research and finding maybe you have a mentoring program and Boys and Girls Club has a mentoring program. Maybe reaching out and saying, hey, how can we collaborate? I think I would suggest to any nonprofit, kind of look at what you're doing and see if there's a way you could work with someone else. I think a lot of nonprofits are becoming more open to this. Yeah. They're not seeing it as like donor stealing or volunteers. I mean, the idea of we can work together to serve more has become very prevalent in our community. So I would tell any nonprofit. I would also say support other nonprofits. I am a big fan of, if my nonprofits have something, an event or a volunteer activity, I try to go. If I have time, I will go and support. So I would say to anyone in the nonprofit field, I mean, I feel like support people who support you. And I will go out and support any of my nonprofit friends. I want to be there. I want to show up. I want to learn more about your mission. That way I can advocate better when I'm out in the community.
Yeah.
So I think as a nonprofit representative, that is what I would tell any. That's the opportunity.
Support, right? I mean,
but you have to make that first step. Is the thing. It's like you have to do it. It's not just going to like show up on your front door.
Right.
Well, that's like anything, right? I mean, we see it all the time with the events that we go to regularly. How we see everybody in the nonprofit world there, and everybody's playing nice and helping
100%.
and supportive, and it's amazing to see.
Yeah. It's something that I struggle with. Is I get so passionate about the things that I do, and I try and help others all the time. Even just showing up, whatever it is, volunteering, raising money, whatever it is, and then when I don't get it reciprocated, I struggle. I'm better than I was, but I struggle so much at like pretending that like, oh, thank you so much, but you didn't help me at all.
Yeah.
Like it's. I struggle with it, Alana. I struggle.
I can understand that, but I think it's one of those things. Then you learn, again, it's a learning thing. You learn and grow. So you're like, okay, I've taken note of this particular instance, and now I can and move forward.
Right.
I mean, but the thing is, there are people that are out there that want to support, that want to show up. They do care, and those are the people that I hold on to dearly.
Right. Are we?
Of course.
Okay,
That's why I'm here.
I just want to make sure.
We're hanging out later.
By the way,
aren't
we're
we?
doing okay so far?
So far, so good.
We are hanging out later.
Yeah, so we're hanging out later.
At a charity event.
At a charity
know.
event. Denim and
Right?
Diamonds.
Denim and Diamonds
I have
for
my
Sophia's
outfit
Hope,
ready.
right?
Awesome. Denim,
Of course.
diamonds.
And by the way, even
Yes.
our beautiful producer is going to be there tonight,
Let's go.
Yeah.
right? Ben will be there tonight too. Yeah, we're excited.
What was
Very
this? Wait,
excited.
what was the second part? I didn't answer that.
For those listening and
Okay.
watching who maybe want to get involved with nonprofits, how can they make the biggest impact?
So first, I think you need to know what your passion is. I feel like a lot of people kind of they're all over the. People want to help everything. I think you need to fine tune what really gets you going.
By the way, isn't that me?
Yes.
Didn't I literally come to you and be
said,
like, I don't know what to support. I love this.
This,
I love
this,
that. I
this.
love them. Right. That's me.
But I think you narrow it down. You do research. Again, it's not going to show up at your front door. You need to put in the work. Do the research. What type of activities? Also, how involved do you want to be? Are you trying to volunteer every weekend? Are you trying to volunteer at one event? Are you trying to volunteer at one program? How much time can you actually give that nonprofit? Or is it like a financial capacity? Do you just want to go to events, which is also helpful for a nonprofit
And fun.
and super fun? Or, I mean, they always say time, talent, and treasure. Like, what can you bring to this nonprofit? What really, what do you have to offer? So I think it's one, analyzing and thinking, okay, what am I passionate about? Here are the ones, do some research. And then two, what can I give them? So analyzing yourself, what do I have to give?
Right.
So again, it's not just going to show up. It is a little bit of work. I mean, there are plenty of, like a Spirit of Giving is a great reference. I mean, people used to call all the time and say, I want to volunteer and I'm really passionate about food insecurity. And Spirit of Giving would give a little list of here are the ones in our community that you can help.
That's super cool.
And by the way, with that, right? Think about it. My brother and I, with some people from the YMCA board, last month before, we worked with Boca Helping Hands.
Amazing organization.
And fantastic. And how cool is it that the one woman that was helping us in the car line, she's a nurse. She's a full-time nurse, and she volunteers for Boca Helping Hands
Every
week. Right? Like, a nurse is a busy job. It's an exhausting. Our mom was a nurse, right? It's exhausting emotionally, physically, and then.
But
she
imagine
still
that
does it.
moment for her after a super busy, maybe chaotic, maybe something crazy happened, to come and to be able to do something like Boca Helping Hands to give food out to families that need.
Yeah.
I mean, that type of that is the best part, watching people enjoy that moment.
Right.
Yeah, that was a
so
crazy
cool.
experience too. I mean, I've helped at Boca Helping Hands before, but I've always been in the back packing the bags.
Yeah.
This was the first time actually giving them out, and actually saw two people that I knew.
Right.
And when I saw them pulling up, not for me, but for them, I like turned and walked away because I didn't want them to feel. Because listen, I don't give a shit if you clean toilets or if you're the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. As long as you're a good person, who gives a crap? And everybody needs help. Listen, when my wife and I were first together, we needed help. We had, was a WIC or whatever it's called, right? I needed that because we didn't make a lot of money, right? And it happens. But it was very humbling.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The hope is that it's a temporary state.
Yeah.
Right. Like when we were there, I saw those same people, and one of them, I walked right up to him, and I said, "Hey," and I talked to him like another day, right? Because in reality, I've been there.
Yeah.
Also, people are people. I think that's
Yes.
kind of something. I think sometimes there's like a disconnect, or people like to see people receiving services as a different level or what. I mean, people are people. We're all just people just trying to make it through this crazy world and the best that we can. So I think that's one of those moments. During COVID, we some of the staff from Spirit of Giving worked a food line over in Meisner Park, and that was definitely an eye-opening thing. We went there, we were making meals, packaging them up, and you're sitting and you're seeing people that
Yes.
and there's no judgment, and that's the thing. If you need help, it's okay to ask for help, no
And
matter.
there's help.
Better than the alternative.
Yes,
Yeah,
there is
it's
help.
okay to ask for.
And
It's
by the way,
always okay
this
to
is
ask for help.
Boca Raton, freaking Florida. This isn't, Detroit, which is, going through trauma and tragedy, right? This is Boca Raton. I'm so bored of seeing cyber trucks and Ferraris and Lamborghinis, right? Like for real, I think I've seen 3 Lamborghinis and a couple Ferraris today. However, there are people right now that are food insecure that have to go to Boca Helping Hands or another organization
Yes,
like that,
that live here.
so that they and their family can have dinner tonight.
Yes.
Holy shit,
Yeah.
right? That's crazy. And so let me ask you this, because I'm telling you, like, her passion just comes out more and more, right?
Yes.
Like, I loved you before, and now, like, you're just so awesome.
Thanks.
So if somebody wants to be, in quotes, more than a volunteer, if they want to get into a leadership kind of role, what kind of advice or guidance or tips can you give to be like, hey, listen, okay, here's where you start, and here's what you do, and here's how it works.
So I think this goes back to doing your research and kind of looking up, like, again, what you're able to give a nonprofit. So I've been in leadership positions at other nonprofits. I am outside of my nonprofit job. I am on the Caring Hearts Auxiliary for the FAU Memory and Wellness Center. I'm a member of Junior League Boca Raton. I'm a member of Impact 100 Palm Beach County.
How do you have time to be here?
I'm a member of
Squeezing it
the FAU Alumni Association Jewish Alumni Group. Is there anything? I mean, I'm involved in
You're pretty busy.
in a lot of things. So to get more involved, I think first is one, analyzing your time. 2, I would recommend some sort of, there's so many opportunities for people who want to get involved in nonprofits on training and leadership, kind of to understand what that means. I think a lot of people join boards because they're asked and they want to help, but they don't really know what that means.
Yeah.
So getting that training.
Very true.
I mean, you can just join a board. Most nonprofits have a pretty good like board training. They can, there's manuals and things, and but there are actual trainings. Like Nonprofits First has a training, and Spirit of Giving also has a training. There's a couple other agencies that offer board or leadership trainings for individuals who are interested in taking that next step.
It was just like last week or something, wasn't it? I saw posts about it online.
There was one at Lynn University.
Yeah.
Last week
Yeah. So cool.
in their social impact lab.
How cool is that?
But there again, our community is so amazing because we have those opportunities. I think it's just
resources are
doing the research. Do the research. But again, anyone can join. If you are interested, you go to that nonprofit. How can I get more involved? Most of the time, they'll say, let's have you volunteer for a little bit, see our organization. If you develop that passion, then let's take it to the next level.
Yeah.
I can say for women in our community, the Junior League of Boca Raton, I mean, I joined as soon as I was able to. My mom was in the Junior League as well, and she pretty much said, you're joining the Junior League.
Right.
This is one of the most amazing group of women to make an impact on this community. You'll meet like the most powerful, influential, smart women. This is the group. I joined that, and I think the leadership training that I got from that organization, on top of all the other little things I was doing, I mean, that really taught me how to be a better leader. So, I mean, for the women in the community, the junior league is a great resource to get that training.
And their incoming president, Victoria Matthews, she's a Leadership Boca alumni with me, right?
is.
Awesome, powerful, smart,
She is amazing.
right? It's going to be cool,
It's going to be, yes, she's amazing.
right?
That's super cool. So one of the things we love doing on this podcast is highlighting local gems. Okay. So what's one of your favorite spots around, whether it's a business, a restaurant, a community space, a park, something that is just like, for you, is like, oh my God, this place is awesome.
I have so many places.
I
Actually,
know you
again,
do.
as we know, if I'm passionate about something, I will scream it from the rooftops. So one of my first places I would recommend, again, for women in this community, there is a local gym called Posh Fitness.
I see their truck every day,
Oh
right by my office.
God, finding that gym after my father passed away. So after my father passed away, I really got into fitness. It was a way to kind of keep my mind busy. So I remember I was on ClassPass and I'm like looking, okay, where do I want to go? Somewhere comfortable. And I saw this women only gym. I'm like, all right. So I remember I went to my first class and I called my sister right afterwards. And I'm like, Joelle, I found it.
Found it.
After the first
So
class,
cool.
I
That's
knew.
amazing.
So I kept going to class. I eventually dropped off the ClassPass and I became a full-time member. The more and more I went, I realized that Posh Fitness is more than just a gym. It's a community. I mean, these girls supported me during that time.
Yeah, right there.
They supported if I had an event, if I needed any type of volunteer, they volunteered at back to school. They supported my events. They showed up for me. We would have we have girls' nights out. I
They
mean,
held a fundraiser for you for the
Right.
Battle of the
Battle of
Bands
the
they
last
Bands.
held
right?
a fundraiser
Yeah.
for me. I mean, that gym is a community.
So cool.
And I fell in love with it. And I still am. Actually, I was there yesterday. I'm still kind of sore. But it is an amazing place. They're opening a new location in Polo Shops. So
cool.
right now they're
Awesome.
on Federal over by the Carmela Coffee.
Right.
They're moving over to Polo
Dangerous
Shops.
next to Carmela Coffee.
Isn't that Vinny's All Day Cafe? You can go get a chicken Caesar wrap after.
That just went viral. I saw that
Viral,
clip
right?
literally
I know.
today.
We have to go. We have
I
to
have
go.
to go. I'll go with you.
Let's go. We'll go.
Have you guys been in?
No.
No.
Oh, I will say one thing. It gets very loud. So I went in there. I thought it was I really liked it, actually. It was really, really cool. But it's just all you hear
Oh, it's them chopping that stuff up to
because
put in the wraps.
they're all made, yeah, and they're massive. Like, it's probably
Right.
enough for 3 people.
I've seen the videos of them.
So I could
putting
have two
It went
myself.
viral.
a mountain of food inside a wrap.
Mountain.
Right.
Crazy. And then they give you a bag of chips. It's awesome. It's like they give you this huge, I'm not even joking. It is like maybe 3 pounds.
Yeah.
It's a big
That's
thing.
a big wrap.
Yeah, it's a big wrap.
Well,
So-
listen. So now that we're talking about food,
Sorry,
I love food.
everything goes to food for
everything
me.
goes
I
to
love food.
All right, and so we're going to steal a question from my brother's podcast. Right, my brother
Mm-hmm.
has a separate podcast, Food, Family, and Philanthropy, and
I heard it's okay.
it's a pretty awesome.
Get out of here.
It really is pretty
You're
awesome.
dying to get on.
You'll get on there. But one of the
I
questions,
think I'm on the waiting list.
yeah, one of the questions is, do you have a favorite local restaurant?
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite? Like, there are a million great places, but if you had to be like, this is my jam,
So
Get the pen ready.
I know. So,
really,
same.
so it's actually mine is, I mean, my spot that I go to every weekend, El Camino Del Rey. Obviously the food is great.
I was gonna say,
the
do you eat
drinks,
anything there?
the drinks
They
are
have food?
even better. Shout out my bartender Randy.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm usually at El Camino frequently. I think sometimes when I come here and I need like a quick lunch, I'm a big fan of lemongrass. Also, American Social. They have
Really?
been, since they have come to our community, since they showed
Yeah.
up in Meisner Park, they have been so amazing in donating to
Yeah.
local nonprofits,
Yeah.
whether it's space for
Space.
events or gift cards or auction items. I mean, Joe and his team there, I take all of my most of my business meetings there. If I'm in East Boca, I'm probably going there. So highly recommend.
That's
They are
awesome.
very philanthropic.
Love that.
Again, if I know of a place that supports nonprofits, I try to support them as much as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
we had a
listen,
big event with the YMCA there last year for all the volunteers. Like, yeah.
and by the way, we're going to ask you to introduce us because we'll get them in here,
Oh yeah,
right, and let them, right? They're a
I
local
think and they're
gem.
We met
opening
the owner.
and
by
they're
the way. I don't
opening
know
a
if
new
you remember that.
location in Del Rey.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And your
Very cool.
Kapow's also opening a second location. That's
know.
another one of my gems.
Right.
Love Kapow.
Kapow.
I talked last night.
The
to
manager.
somebody-
We know the manager.
Yeah.
The guy, the area manager.
Yes.
What the heck is his
I'm
name?
drawing a blank.
It's like an interesting name. He was at Brooklyn Water Bagel, and then 60 Vines,
Yep.
and then True Food Kitchen, and he's at
then
Kapow
Kapow.
now. And I can't think of his name, but he's a good dude.
Yeah, and I talked literally yesterday. I talked about Kapow, their pineapple brulee.
Oh my God,
I went to I went to Kapow on a date a few years ago, and just like afterward, like for dessert, a drink and dessert, and what they'd have is they take a whole pineapple and like I don't know if they quarter it or put it into eighths and slice it, and then they put sugar on top and brulee it, and my date and I barely talked because we were eating the shit out of that brulee. It was so good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a fun kapow story.
Tell me.
This is the part where it might be a little
I want to.
X-rated?
PG-13.
There you
Oh,
go.
all right.
Jacob, don't listen.
So Kapow's amazing. I've hosted a couple friends' birthday. They have those new really cool karaoke rooms.
So cool. I went to a party. Oh my God.
Oh my
so
gosh.
Cool.
So I hosted a friend's birthday in one of the karaoke rooms. It was all girls birthday party. And one of their really good desserts are the Thai donuts. They're very soft, fluffy. So the manager at the time, she's now at the Addison, so hopefully I'll see her tonight. But the manager at the time, I was like, yeah, can I order? I have all these girls. I want to order like a nice dessert. Can we do like a really pretty presentation with the Thai donuts? She's like, yeah. Do you want a penis cake? And I'm like, yes.
Yes, I do.
I have never been more sure about an
Right.
answer than
That
right
is
now.
awesome.
Of course.
That is what I want. And when it was the most beautiful display of a gigantic Thai donut penis cake,
Nice.
and for a
Nice.
group of girls for a birthday party at a karaoke room.
There were no giggles. There was
None.
no laughing.
Taking pictures with your arm around.
Comparisons to their spouses.
Stern face. No, it was one of the best. I mean, everyone thought it was hilarious. Everyone was taking
course.
photos. It was like, so
That's
shout out
awesome.
to Kapow and being able to accommodate that and obviously reading the room very
Yes.
well.
Yes.
And it was a hit. But yeah, shout out to Kapow. Amazing.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
By the way, El Camino, if you've never tried the salsa verde enchiladas, they're unbelievable.
I feel like I've had everything out.
Right.
I love it.
Like when I go to a restaurant and I find something I like, I can't sway. So every time, that's what I get.
Do you know they make their coffee tequila? That coffee tequila is theirs.
Really?
They make it. It's delicious.
You get the espresso martini.
Duh.
Obviously.
Is it better than Maggiano, the girl from Maggiano's?
So, the girl, man, I'm sad she's not there. We have to go to her new spot.
Yeah.
I can't remember where she went.
Somewhere in Coconut Creek or something.
Sherelle knows.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right.
We got to go.
All right, let's get back on course here. All right.
Sorry.
Jeez.
Yes, chef.
So, someone who's worked with multiple organizations like Spirit of Giving and Rails JFS, what's the most significant change that you've noticed in the needs of the community over the years?
So that's actually a fun question. I've been preaching this recently. Spirit of Giving would host these monthly meetings where all these nonprofits would get together, and it's an amazing time for all the nonprofits to get together and discuss what's going on in the community. The most urgent need that we're seeing amongst everybody is housing. And it's not just for clients, it's for staff, it's for your team, it's for people who work at public. I mean, where are we going to live and how are people going to be able to afford to live?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's already a huge discussion in general with like millennials and Gen Z and all the other
everybody.
all of
Everybody,
those-
by the way. I don't know if you know what we do for
a living.
Right.
Really.
I don't know how people afford to live here.
It's crazy, and I think that's kind of become almost like it's kind of scary. I mean, even myself, I think about like right now, I'm living with my mom. Where am I gonna go? Like, I do want to buy a house. I'm saving up right now, but like I want to live here. This is my community. This is something I'm passionate about.
You've been here forever.
I've been here forever, and I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
So
Right.
Unless the hurricane takes you away.
no, it's on the other side.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. I hope everyone over there is doing
Right.
it.
Seriously. Yeah. It's not looking pretty. Hopefully
No.
everybody will be safe. So let me ask you this about the community and the community and the people that you serve and organizations serve. What's a misconception you would say that the general public has about the people? Like, something that you just feel is like misunderstood. You would love to get out there and tell people about the people that are being helped.
Well, I think it goes back to the thing I said in the beginning is a lot of people look at Palm Beach County, and even people who live in Palm Beach County, is like this. There's this ample amount of wealth, which there is, but there's also people in need, and I think that's kind of the thing that I wish more people understood. That even though yes, there is a lot going on here with money and parties and lavish things and really nice things, we have an amazing, but there's also need, and that in my opinion, we are a community, and it is our job as community members to support and uplift each other. Similar to nonprofit collaboration, like we as neighbors and friends, like we don't work in a silo. We should be working together. So like check on your neighbor and make sure things are okay. I mean, I think it kind of goes bigger than just the nonprofit thing.
Of course.
But I mean, what was your quote?
A rising tide raises all ships.
And that's more than just nonprofits. That's
Right.
people,
Yeah.
that's
That's people.
friends, that's neighbors.
Yeah.
For
And listen,
real.
in our worlds, right, in the real estate world, it's it's everybody, right? Think about going into communities, senior communities. We've seen some homes and some people that need it. Listen, we helped clean out an apartment a few weeks ago, and that woman that sat out front, there was this woman sitting out front with toenails this long in a muumuu and nothing else, and she was dirt, and I'm like, shit, like this is just a woman. There was nobody there to check on her. We were there for several hours. I didn't see anybody check. Like, how does this woman get help?
Yeah.
Who's looking after her?
All right, so enough of this negative. Let's
right,
go on the flip side, okay? So, Alana, what's something that keeps you going? Like, what's the most rewarding part of the work that you do?
I mean, there's so many we talked about. I mean, there's
Right.
so many good things.
Yeah.
I mean, I think seeing happy clients or hearing stories from clients, a lot of it is like my nonprofit partners. Maybe that's a good way to hearing from my nonprofit partners the work that they're doing and they're being able to share with me. That's another way. Or them saying, you know, we saw you do this, or you know, we did this. I think hearing the stories keeps me going. But again, I think for me, this is also in my blood. Every day I wake up and it's like I want to do more.
Right, and your mom does it too. Like,
And my mom does it
So
too.
cool.
If there's anything in this world that I can do is I want to make my mom proud. I want to make my dad proud with
do,
what
by
I'm
the way.
doing.
We've talked to her. She's pretty proud of you.
I just want to show them that they did. I mean, I'm a good kid.
Right.
You guys did
right.
good.
Yeah.
Listen, I tell that to our dad. I'm like, listen, you've done a good job. You've
Did
raised some good
good.
boys,
Yeah.
right? All right,
He's
so
proud of us.
of course he is. So let me ask you a question. A lot of stress in what you do.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to do on a day off?
That's funny. Actually, I feel like I'm still out and about. So it depends. So sometimes it's go out. I have an amazing group of friends.
So you have to ask that question.
You have the coolest
Just go
group of
on
friends.
Instagram and you'll know exactly. What
You have the coolest
Katie,
group of friends.
LA.
I have so much FOMO. I want to be in a line.
I have an
orbit.
amazing group of friends, and I think again from being from this community and growing up here, like I have groups. I have high school girlfriends that I'm still close with. I have college friends that I'm still super close with. I have my nonprofit friends that I'm super close with, and I have my little FAU girlfriends that I am super close with and I love. So I have amazing friends on days when I want to do something. So whether it's like go to El Camino and get an espresso martini and hang out in Del Rey for a little bit and be social, or if it's like I want to go drink wine and play Uno on the beach, like there
Ooh, that
is-
sounds
I
fun.
know. I like
Uno.
I love Uno. I'm very competitive.
Reverse.
Yeah.
Very like aggressively competitive in Uno.
I'm aggressively competitive in everything I do.
Just period.
So I mean, I think it's just I also I mean I do love to sometimes just stay at home and watch
does that
TV.
mean?
I know.
I don't know
Stay
what
at
you mean.
home, watch TV on the couch. You know, hang out with my
We need
dog.
that once in a while, right?
I have a dog, a Rottweiler named Henry that I
Oh,
adopted
Henry.
from Miami-Dade, and he is one of the best things that's ever happened.
That's cool.
So sweet.
So we hang out and watch TV and
I love that. All right, and so to sort of piggyback on that, to anybody that's watching or listening, that's not in South. Well, listen, even for people in South Florida, if someone were visiting South Florida, if you can think of one thing that you're like, oh, you're here, you have to do this. You should go do that.
yeah.
Like, you have anything?
You see how her face just changed? She's like, oh
Beach. I
shit.
feel like that's like the only, I mean, in Florida, and this is something I kind of chuckle about to myself all the time, is in Florida, I mean, there's people who've never seen the beach before. And how blessed are we that, like, I mean, I live a mile from the beach. I could walk there. Like, that's crazy.
Faster to drive though.
Yeah, it is faster. But sometimes I walk, it's early and it's not too hot. I would say beach, definitely. But I also think everyone's different and has different things. Like, some you tell beach to someone, they're like, I don't like
not for me.
sand.
Right.
Sand is not it.
That's me.
I mean, we have great cities to go to. Delray's great. Boca's great. Meisner Park is a fun place to go if you want to be like a social butterfly and do those types of things. I mean, we have amazing restaurants. We have amazing cultural like exhibits, art museums, and Murakami. I mean, there's so many fun things to kind of fill that need depending on what you're into or what that person is interested in. Again, it goes back to just kind of like doing a little bit of research.
Yeah.
But if someone said, if they were coming from out of town, I'm like, what do I do? You got to go to the beach. We have some of the best beaches.
Okay, sounds good. So we want to say thank you so much for joining us today, Alana. I mean, we like hanging out with you anyways, but it's kind of cool to do it on camera. It's been great hearing about your journey from everything from Spirit of Giving to Rails Jewish, Rails JFS.
Thank you.
And just so you know, so anyone who wants more information about it or get details, we're going to put the details in the show notes, so they'll be able to get all the information they want and get involved.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really for the people that are watching and listening, please follow the Digital Mayors podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube. We're on Instagram, Facebook. We've got to get a TikTok going too, I think.
Yeah. All right.
And if you enjoyed today's episode, because how could
hope
you?
you
How could
did.
you
I
not?
did.
Right?
It's the best one we've done.
For sure. Like
The best one out of
I said,
one.
the bar is very high.
The bar's high.
If you enjoyed it, please share it with somebody. Favorite it, give us a 5-star review, and also message us, shoot us a DM and let us know who else we should be talking to, right? What other spots, what other organizations, what other people, great things about South Florida, right? Because again, our goal, and I think today we've done a really good job, is to discover and uncover some of the great things and like one of the most awesome people that make South Florida a great place to live, work, play, and give,
Yeah.
right? So you're good?
Yeah.
You're good?
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. I think
Absolutely.
you guys are known as connectors in the community, and I think this is a great place to help further that
That's one of our goals.
identity.
For sure.
You guys are connectors, and this is what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. That's one of our goals is we just want people to love where we live as much as we do.
Yeah.
And the people, right? There's just so much out here,
Yeah.
right? It's
So
awesome.
thank you everybody for watching and listening, and we'll see you next week in another episode. Digital Mayors.
That's us. You're so awesome,
Thank you.
right?
Hey.
How'd we do, Ben?
That was amazing. Great job, guys.
Yeah?
I honestly, it's still recording. I love to get a little bit of the B-roll.
Uh-oh.